Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
A man has been arrested after leading officers on a wild chase along the Tamar River this afternoon. Police allege the man had stolen a boat, describing the pursuit as an isolated incident. Other boaties were warned to stay off the river as police raced to track him down. The offender was taken into custody this afternoon and the vessel recovered. Debate over the cost of living is set to rage on this week at government business scrutiny hearings. The Energy Minister's defended generous concessions available, but for some, it's still not enough.
Their new minister's a steady hand behind the bar.
Look at that.
But small businesses say it's financial backing that builds their confidence.
We kind of converted the beer garden into this area, which is now like an indoor pavilion. That redevelopment was enabled in some ways by a no-interest government loan.
Spruiking help for businesses today, Nick Dygan set for a cost of living grilling tomorrow in his first round of government business scrutinies.
We have the most generous suite of compensation measures for energy consumers.
I won't have a Christmas for my children.
A NAB quarterly survey shows cost of living stress is higher here than in any other state, forcing tough decisions.
It's feed the children first, they come first, and if I go without, I go without. And that's so be it.
Making sure Tasmanians have a cap on their electricity prices would help them ease the cost of living pressures they're facing.
Energy enterprises headline government business scrutinies this week, with major developments to be examined. Tas Racing has spent the year under an integrity cloud. Their hearing will make for tense watching. So too Metro. Despite slashing services in the hope of reliability, travellers are still too often stuck at the stop.
It's not a big ask to actually have a bus that can turn up on time or turn up at all.
This year sees a bump in the number of hearings, every GBE to face lower house committees this year instead of every second. Many will meet upper house ones too.
These enormous government bodies that are making decisions that affect Tasmanians and our finances, we should have an opportunity to scrutinise them every year.
A smorgasbord of spicy scrutinies starting tomorrow morning. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania Police is renewing calls for information into the disappearance of a man from Sheffield 15 years ago. It's hoped the public plea can lead to a breakthrough and give his family the answers they've been yearning for.
When Nicola Solis was first reported missing in November 2008, his family could never have imagined they'd still be searching for him 15 years later.
Pretty much it's what we're known for, everyone we get introduced as, their dad's a missing person. It's, pretty much taken over, daily life.
Despite their harsh reality, the family is determined not to give up their fight for answers.
When it first happened, we were quite frantic and, we just haven't had the breakthrough that we were after.
The then 69-year-old was last seen driving his silver Toyota Camry east on Sheffield Main Road, heading away from the town. The last confirmed sighting the same day in Southport.
We've had various sightings all over the state in the last 15 years, and it's a long time for a family to go without answers.
Despite a coroner ruling him dead in 2012, neither his body or his car have ever been found.
We think that if we find his car, we're going to find him.
Tasmania Police is now renewing its call to the public for any information, no matter how big or small.
Our minds are open to anything, and that's why we're appealing to the public to give us that information that we need.
Promising to leave no stone unturned and give his family some much-needed closure.
Be everything. It'd mean I could get a hobby. It'd be good to put him to rest, and so we don't have to keep searching.
Victoria Easto, 7 Tasmania News.
While they're going about the important business of saving lives, health workers are calling for a healthy dose of respect. A new campaign's been released urging the public to act safely towards them.
We accept that patients who come to our facilities, to our hospitals, they're actually
they're traumatised just by the nature they're coming to our facility. So we just want to remind people that take a breath.
So I guess the message is to just take a second to think about what you're saying and how that might impact the person who's trying to care for you.
Earlier this year, a doctor was hospitalised with stab wounds after an incident at the Northwest Regional Hospital. It could be lights out for an annual Christmas display as a festive fight brews between council and a homeowner. Max Jago says he won't be putting up his decorations this year after being slapped with a levy, estimated to run into the thousands of dollars.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Max Jago's Newnham house is looking a little bare. Heading into Christmas, it usually looks more like this. It's a fight with council that's threatening to wreck the halls.
They've implemented a new fee of $4 per square metre for basically events or works that occupy a road space.
Estimated to run up to $8,000. It isn't the first time Max has found himself on council's naughty list over the lavish display. The six-figure setup includes fake snow, video walls, thousands of LED lights, even pyrotechnics. It's easy to see why it draws a crowd.
Last year, 6,000 plus total cycled through.
That crowd is causing the issue. In recent years, he's resorted to hiring traffic controllers and closing busy Allenvale Road at a cost of $15,000.
I pay for the traffic management company, public liability insurance, the pyrotechnics, feeding the volunteers, everything.
The new fee for occupying the road, however, is too much coal in his stocking. Council tells us that Max is entitled to apply for an exemption to the fee, would however need to be voted on at the next council meeting in a fortnight, and Max says he's not sure it's worth the effort.
Even if they did overrule it and the fee wasn't there, I wouldn't have time to then actually set up the lights.
His Christmas cheer will stay in the shed, perhaps permanently. Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
A new human movement centre is hoping to play a major role in improving the health outcomes for people with neurological conditions. The research is making waves overseas, offering a rare chance to collaborate with other centres across the world.
Blackmans Bay local Dennis Crawford was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease 2 years ago.
I knew nothing about Parkinson's. Absolutely nothing.
Today, his condition is proving part of vital research. The Human Intelligent Movement Analysis Centre in Hobart plans to investigate and track human movements, telling us more about neurological conditions like dementia and Parkinson's disease, often characterised by tremors and the body slowing down.
Primarily, we have a number of different pieces of equipment that measure human movements, and those can be precise eye movements, hand movements, walking on the gate mat.
In Dennis's case, a selection of cameras reflect light of dozens of body sensors. The setup, the first of its kind in the state. Parkinson's disease is the fastest growing neurological disorder, with the rate of diagnoses only increasing with age. It's prompted the need for more research here in Tasmania, given we have the oldest population in the country.
We can take part in international research studies and attract that funding here to Tasmania.
Clinical and research studies are expected to begin next year as the race for a long-term cure continues.
I would hope that they can come to a clearer understanding of the mechanisms within the brain which cause the problems.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
The gates will soon open on Tasmania's summer racing carnival, with thousands of punters expected to pack trackside over the next 3 months. This year's edition extra special, with one of the carnival's key events celebrating a major birthday.
Putting some sparkle into the Tasmanian summer.
Oh my God! There we go, that's it.
For Campbell Brown and Grace Hayden, there's nothing like the races. The Tas Racing ambassadors will be front and centre at the Summer Carnival.
I love the people. The racing is first class, and it's always a really fun day out.
Getting dressed up, being with your friends, it's a great day out. I loved my experience last year at Tassie, so yeah, I'm excited to do it all again.
The celebration of trotting, racing and greyhounds begins next Wednesday with the Newmarket Handicap and runs until March across the state. After a year with a few hurdles, the industry is hot to trot.
We just like to do our thing and do it really well. This is our big stage and we can't wait.
One of the flagship events is marking a big occasion. February's Hobart Cup is the 150th edition, with 2015 winner Gigi's Backflash back on course today. The time-honoured race has seen many big moments, this year's winner Military Mission making it to the Melbourne Cup. In a market dominated by big money events, officials say the race still packs a punch on the national calendar.
There's good form coming out of our group level racing that can match it on the mainland.
We're starting to see year on year plenty of trainers from the mainland bringing their horses down.
Off the track, fashion and entertainment goes hand in hand with race day. Plenty of colour expected to shine through.
So pinks and reds together, I encourage people to embrace their own individual style as well.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, a group of Tasmanian students has jumped on their bikes all in the name of a good cause. Ravenswood Heights Primary School throwing its support behind the Sally's Ride fundraiser, running their own mini version ahead of this weekend's main event.
They're really wanting to give back to promote that for our school, how important mental health is, but also for the society, and then that just runs a long line with Sally's Ride.
Sally's Ride's about raising money to support youth mental health, and these kids are the ones that will benefit from the efforts and for them to be able to give back is really, really rewarding.
Around 200 competitors have already signed up for Sunday's 21st edition of Sally's Ride. Final preparations for the Lake Burbury Fish Competition are underway as the event prepares to cast off this weekend. Hundreds of Tasmanians taking to West Coast waters, hoping to snag a prize-winning trout and bragging rights.
These calm waters are gearing up to play host to one of the biggest events on the Tasmanian fishing calendar.
Last year we had 173 entries, which is the most we've had since 2004. We're hoping this year to have a few more.
The Lake Burbury Fishing Competition, now in its 30th year, is set to see keen fishers from across the state make the trek to the Wild West, hoping to bag a fantastic prize winner.
It's rainbow and brown trout. Predominantly in this lake, that's the only two types of fish you can catch. There's a lot of different lakes around the West Coast with different types of trout as well.
It's an additional tourism boost for nearby towns, still reeling from the success of the Unconformity Festival.
For the town, it means businesses get a bit of a boost. People come to buy their food, fuel, fishing gear.
Many attendees set to take to the lake early Friday morning, with weigh-ins spread across the weekend.
Anyone can come. We encourage families. It's nice to see people who come back every year. We have people from the mainland come.
Some people do get very competitive, but at the same time, everyone has good sportsmanship.
Organisers now casting a line to anyone who thinks they have what it takes. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, look up as you cross Launceston's Tamer Street Bridge and you'll see colourful new banners designed by students at the Big Picture School. The young artists had been given a specific brief.
It was to think about the community and what you value in the community, and to create a design that would mirror that.
Well, it's great to see different perspectives from the students at the Big Picture School as to what Invermay and what Launceston means to them. Might be something that's very different to what you and I would think.
Other areas around Launceston will be splashed with fresh banners over coming weeks. The Royal Hobart Botanical Gardens are set to be transformed for the Carols by Candlelight on December 23. Thousands are expected to turn out to hear from a 17-piece band who will perform all the Christmas classics. The children's choir today giving us a glimpse of a favourite.
It's our way of giving back to the community and then being able to sort of give to a charity like Variety, the children's charity, because at the end of the day, we all love Christmas, but really it is all about the children.
Despite a very busy schedule, Santa is also expected to make a brief appearance.
Tasmania has just scored a win in its Sheffield Shield clash, wrapping things up a day early against New South Wales. The Tigers were facing the prospect of batting again after the Blues fought back on day 3 at Blundstone Arena. Their middle order digging deep through the afternoon with Matthew Jocks, Ollie Davies and Chris Green all making half-centuries.
cutting away on this occasion as another boundary. Moves to 49. He's applied his craft, so beautifully. He's hoping again.
Despite their best efforts, the Blues were bowled out for 311 a short time ago, going down by an innings and 1 run. The wait is almost over for Tasmania's 18 draft hopefuls. In around half an hour, West Coast will lock in this year's #1 pick. Locals Colby McKercher and Riley Sanders are widely tipped to be among the first 10 names called on. James Leake and Ari Schoenmaker are also likely first-round picks. After a nervous weekend, the Tigers will play the Hockey One finals. After losing their last game of the regular season, a win from either Perth or Adelaide would have seen that team knock Tasmania out of the top 4. Luckily, New South Wales beat Adelaide while Brisbane beat Perth. It means Tasmania will play New South Wales in the first final on Saturday night. There's been a major blow to South Hobart's chances of fielding a team in the new National Second Division. The NPL Tasmania club isn't named among the first 8 teams announced today. 5 Sydney and 3 Melbourne outfits will join the league when it begins in 2025. There will, however, be a second chance, with Football Australia confirming more clubs will be added.
We're looking for an additional 2 to 4 clubs as we move towards the kickoff in 2025, so there will be an ongoing process.
A final decision will come early next year.
Good evening. Hobart reached 21 degrees today. That 25 in Launceston, the warmest around the state. Devonport and Burnie 19. Temperatures generally above average, not so much over the east where a shower or 2 fell. Bushy Park 24 degrees, Grove and Flinders Island 21, St Helens 20, Strawn and Friendly Beaches 19, Flinders Island and Lowhead 18 degrees. Now, here's the cloud streaming over the state from the northwest, and that low cloud sat over the east as well. A large area of cloud is over New South Wales and Queensland, cloud with thunderstorms over the north and east of the country. Tomorrow, the high south of Western Australia extends a ridge towards Tasmania. Troughs are there as well over the mainland still. West to southwesterly winds at 15 to 25 knots over southern waters, more variable over the north and east. And in the south, we have a strong wind warning. That's for waters between Tasman Island and South East Cape. The forecast for tomorrow, partly cloudy and 21 again in Hobart, partly cloudy for Adventure Bay and Tarraleah, both expecting 20 degrees. Launceston, a possible shower, 26 the top, 21 for Devonport, partly cloudy for Bridport, 22 the maximum. Burnie tomorrow expecting 21 degrees and partly cloudy, 17 for Strawn, Marrawar 18 degrees. St Helens a high tomorrow of 22, partly cloudy for Swansea and Whitemark 21 degrees. On Wednesday, fine and partly cloudy again, more cloud drifting over the north and east than elsewhere. A fine day forecast for all of the state on Thursday as winds tend east-southeasterly, and on Friday mainly fine again, Hobart looking at 23 and Launceston 26. Sunny in Perth tomorrow, 36 degrees, a partly cloudy day on the way for Adelaide, 20 and cloudy in Melbourne, partly cloudy in Sydney and rain at times in Brisbane. And cloudy around Tasmania at the moment, and Kim, I'm still really bleary-eyed after that big event of yesterday, as we celebrated International Men's Day. I hope you looked after your husband.
Of course I did, every day. Thank you, Murph, and that is all your news for now. We'll have updates throughout the night. Thanks for your company. Good night.